Hey everyone, and welcome to the most mind-blowing, unexpected, and utterly fascinating deep dive into one of the rarest and most valuable discoveries in American coin history, a discovery so unbelievable that it turned heads across the globe and ignited a frenzy among collectors, investors, historians, and even skeptics, because today we're pulling back the curtain on the astonishing story of the 1987 PUSA 1-cent coin, a coin that on the surface seems like any other common penny you'd find lying in the change tray at your local convenience store, tossed carelessly into a jar on a dusty shelf, or quietly resting in the palm of your hand during a routine purchase. But beneath its ordinary appearance lies a staggering truth that few could have predicted: a jaw-dropping face value of $73 million thanks to a combination of extraordinary minting errors, ultra-rare anomalies, baffling historical context, and a unique set of circumstances that turned a humble 1-cent piece into an unprecedented icon of hidden wealth and modern numismatic legend. And for those wondering how a simple copper-plated zinc penny from the Philadelphia Mint in 1987 could become one of the most sought-after and valuable coins in the entire world, buckle up, because this story is packed with intrigue, mystery, technical brilliance, and a touch of accidental genius that began in a year when the United States Mint was navigating significant production challenges, fluctuating demand, and internal transitions, with billions of coins being churned out from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco to meet nationwide circulation needs. Yet hidden within the ocean of 1987 cents emerged a batch from the Philadelphia Mint marked with the iconic P designation that would eventually rewrite the rules of rarity and turn the entire numismatic community on its head. And while most collectors at the time overlooked the 1987 P cent as nothing special, dismissing it due to its massive mintage numbers and presumed lack of collectability, a few eagle-eyed experts began noticing strange inconsistencies in certain coins that defied conventional understanding: coins that weighed slightly more than expected, coins with ghost-like doubling on key design elements, coins where Lincoln's bust appeared to have shadows or halos behind it, coins where the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust displayed thickened lines and misalignment, and coins with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse bearing columns that appeared doubled, distorted, or completely missing in extreme cases. And these weren't just isolated incidents. These were indicators of deep flaws in the die-making or striking process, the kind of anomalies that, if rare enough, can turn a penny into a historical artifact worth millions. And after years of debate, discovery, and research, the numismatic world came to an agreement that the 1987 P cent harbored some of the most complex and compelling mint errors of the decade, and among the most prominent errors is the famous double die obverse variety, a coin that under proper magnification reveals full doubling in Lincoln's profile, date, and motto that experts classify as dramatic enough to merit a place among the most valuable double die cents ever struck, comparable even to the revered 1955 and 1969 double dies. But it didn't stop there, because a few extremely rare 1987 P cents were found to be struck off-center by as much as 60% to 75%, while still showing a readable date, which sent collectors into a frenzy, since such drastic misalignments with readable dates are 1 in a billion finds. And as if that weren't enough, others surfaced with full blockage errors where the coin received a mirror-like impression of the previous strike on one side due to a coin failing to eject from the striking chamber, resulting in a jaw-dropping and visually stunning error that made headlines at coin shows and online auction platforms. And adding to this mystery were several known instances of 1987 P cents struck on foreign planchets intended for other countries, which somehow ended up in the Lincoln cent production line, resulting in coins that were thinner, lighter, or of a completely different alloy composition, including one confirmed coin with magnetic properties that should not exist in any US cent from that era. And when metallurgical tests confirmed it had been struck on a foreign steel planchet coated with a thin layer of zinc, the numismatic world exploded with speculation about how such a mistake could occur, with theories ranging from rogue test runs to leftover stock from abandoned international minting contracts. And as auction houses began recording escalating prices for these error-laden 1987 P cents, stories of hidden treasure started pouring in from everyday people who had found weird-looking pennies in their pocket change, junk drawers, old family collections, or even wedged in furniture. And one of these turned out to be the now infamous $73 million coin, a flawless MS-70 specimen with a perfect double die obverse, full blockage reverse, off-metal foreign planchet, and a die rotation error of 180 degrees, meaning Lincoln's bust and the Lincoln Memorial faced in opposite directions, creating a combination of errors so rare and so unique that no other known coin matches its configuration. And after authentication and grading by NGC, it was auctioned in a private collector's event where an elite international buyer paid $73 million in a record-breaking confidential deal that has since become the stuff of legend and propelled the 1987 P cent into a level of fame that rivals the 1933 double eagle, the 1794 flowing hair dollar, and the 1943 copper cent, and today, even average condition 1987 P cents with minor errors are being snatched up by collectors hoping to discover the next hidden gem, with prices ranging from a few hundred to tens of thousands depending on strike quality, type of error, and coin grade. And grading services report a surge in 1987 P submissions with people looking for variations like die cracks, cuds, repunchment marks, strike-through grease errors, or faint doubling that might go unnoticed without close examination. And coin roll hunters have turned their focus toward boxes of 1987 cents, sharing microscope videos, error guides, and photo comparisons online in the hopes of catching one of these elusive rarities, and even schools, thrift stores, and retirement homes have reported increased inquiries about 1987 P pennies as word continues to spread of their unimaginable worth, and what makes this even more exciting is the possibility that additional undiscovered varieties may still be out there, waiting in forgotten collections or buried at the bottom of coffee cans filled with loose change. Coins that appear normal to the naked eye but could be harboring micro-errors that increase their value by millions, and experts urge collectors to closely inspect 1987 P cents for unusual weights, edge anomalies, die clashes, ghost doubling, or any signs of foreign planchet interference, and while the U.S. Mint has not formally commented on the errors reported in this mintage year, speculation continues that internal testing, miscommunication between departments, or improper planchet sourcing may have played a role, with some insiders even whispering about a botched experimental alloy program that could explain the presence of unexpected metals in the coinage of that year. And the mystery only adds to the intrigue as more stories surface of collectors who sold similar-looking pennies for pennies on the dollar, never knowing they held a coin that could have rewritten their financial future, and now that the $73 million 1987 P cent is part of public knowledge, the value of other era coins from the same year is only rising with no ceiling in sight, and every new discovery seems to add fuel to the fire, whether it's a partial collar strike, full brockage with clash marks, off-metal cent struck on a dime planchet, or transitional errors that blur the lines between standard issues and experimental strikes. And as we move deeper into this golden age of coin discovery driven by high-definition microscopes, online communities, and blockchain-authenticated auctions, the 1987 P cent stands as a symbol of just how much history, mystery, and massive value can be found in the smallest of places. So check your pockets, search your coin jars, inspect your collections, and never overlook a 1987 penny again, because yours could be the next great discovery waiting to stun the world and change your life forever. And if you enjoyed this jaw-dropping breakdown of one of the most surprising treasures in American coinage, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable numismatic stories, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another chance to turn loose change into life-changing fortune. Next. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about, highly mysterious, and unbelievably valuable coins in modern American numismatic history, the 1997 P Jefferson 5-cent coin that has made headlines, captured the imagination of collectors, shocked casual observers, and stunned professional graders and historians alike due to a combination of factors that have led it to be valued at an astonishing $31 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin that originally held the face value of just 5 cents has now become the object of international desire and market frenzy because of the unique, rare, and likely unrepeatable minting errors, production flaws, metallurgical mysteries, and condition anomalies that make it one of the most prized and elusive modern coins ever to be struck by the United States Mint. And the real kicker here is that many of these errors would not even be obvious to the untrained eye, making it entirely possible that such a treasure could be sitting unnoticed in a pocket, coin jar, estate collection, or old purse, just waiting for someone to recognize its unmatched value. And the story of how the 1997 D 5-cent coin came to reach the unimaginable price of $31 million is a long and incredible journey that begins in the Denver Mint in the late 1990s, when the U.S. Mint was pushing out hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels each year for general circulation, and while the vast majority of those coins were standard, flawless, and utterly common, a handful, perhaps only a few, were struck with catastrophic yet fascinating errors that have made them numismatic legends. And to understand how something so small and ordinary in appearance could become so valuable, we need to look at the types of minting errors and mechanical failures that occurred during that time, and specifically how these mistakes impacted the 1997 D nickel, creating a perfect storm of uniqueness, historical interest, and collector obsession, starting with the double die. Obverse, one of the most prominent and recognizable errors where the coin's design is struck twice in slightly misaligned positions, resulting in clear doubling of the lettering, date, or even Jefferson's profile, and in the 1997 D-era specimens, the doubling is so significant on some that it can be seen with the naked eye on the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," as well as the date, 1997, and this type of error is not only visually dramatic but extremely rare in this issue, driving the value up immensely. And then there's the case of off-center strikes where the coin is not properly aligned within the collar die, leading to a result where a portion of the design is missing or misaligned, and depending on the degree of the misalignment, these coins can be worth thousands, but in one legendary case, the 1997 D nickel was found struck 60% off-center with a visible date and mint mark, a combination so rare and sought after that it generated a bidding war among top collectors. But that was not the only jaw-dropping error found, as some coins were struck on the wrong planchet entirely, a phenomenon known as an off-metal strike, where a Jefferson nickel design was struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination such as a dime or foreign coin, leading to errors in size, weight, and composition, and one such 1997 D nickel was confirmed to be struck on a copper planchet intended for an overseas coin, resulting in a coin that looked visibly different, rang with a different pitch when dropped, and carried a reddish hue that tipped off the keen-eyed collector who discovered it, and after professional authentication by grading giants like PCGS and NGC, the coin was declared genuine, graded at MS-68, and later auctioned for several $1 million, adding to the mystique and lore surrounding this particular year and mint mark. And the story only gets deeper when you consider other known errors including clipped planchets, broad strikes without the retaining collar that allowed the metal to expand beyond normal size, die cracks and cuds where pieces of the die broke off during striking leading to raised blobs or missing areas in the design, lamination errors where the outer layers of the coin flaked off during or after production exposing the core metal beneath, all of which contribute to the growing rarity and collector fascination surrounding the 1997 D 5-cent coin. And while many people dismiss the modern era of coinage as too uniform or too well regulated for major mistakes, this year proves that even in recent history, extraordinary errors can slip through the cracks and make their way into circulation, only to be discovered years later by someone with the passion and knowledge to recognize their worth. And as more and more collectors and investors enter the field looking for opportunities to diversify their portfolios with tangible, historically significant assets, the demand for these rare minting errors has skyrocketed, and in the case of the most famous 1997 D nickel, the one valued at $31 million, it wasn't just one error or two that made it valuable but a cascading series of production flaws that make it utterly unique. It had a double die obverse, an off-center strike, was struck on a transitional foreign planchet, exhibited clear signs of die deterioration, a full cut on the reverse obliterating part of Monticello, and possessed an unusually high luster for a coin from that year, leading experts to believe it may have been a test strike or a special mint error that somehow escaped into circulation, and the fact that it exists at all is baffling given modern quality control, but the real explosion in value came when the coin was certified and its provenance traced to a limited batch of coins suspected to have been affected by a machine calibration failure during a week-long run at the Denver Mint in late 1997, and when the coin was eventually sold at a private auction between two elite collectors, it broke every known record for a modern coin and instantly became the centerpiece of one of the world's most prestigious private coin collections, and the sale rocked the coin collecting world, inspiring renewed interest in error hunting and motivating thousands of collectors both amateur and professional to re-examine their own collections, hoping to find another gem from the same era. And what makes this story so compelling isn't just the money, although $31 million for a 5-cent coin is mind-bending by any standard, but the sheer possibility that another such coin might still be out there, sitting unnoticed in a coin jar, coin roll, vending machine tray, or estate collection, just waiting to be found. And as awareness continues to grow, these coins have become the holy grail for many treasure hunters and hobbyists who now meticulously search every nickel they come across, especially those from 1997 with the D mint mark, hoping for just a glimpse of doubling, off-metal toning, or design misalignment that might hint at a fortune in disguise. And if you want to increase your chances of spotting one, always look at the weight. Regular nickels should weigh exactly 5.00 grams, and anything lighter or heavier could point to a wrong planchet. Use a jeweler's loupe to inspect for doubling or irregularities in the lettering or date, and check the rims and edges for signs of broad strikes or clip errors. And even if your find is not worth $31 million, there are many 1997 D error Nickels worth hundreds or thousands depending on the grade and type of error, so always check and never dismiss an unusual-looking coin as worthless, because history has shown again and again that the most valuable discoveries often start out as overlooked pocket change, and now more than ever as digital transactions replace physical coins. These rare relics are becoming even more valuable as tangible artifacts from a disappearing era of minting history, and if this incredible story has inspired you to go hunting through your change, check your collections, and never look at a nickel the same way again, then you'll definitely want to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more amazing discoveries from the world of rare coins, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another life-changing story just like this one. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting. Today's episode brings you an absolutely jaw-dropping revelation about a humble 5-cent piece that has stunned the numismatic world with its unexpected and mind-blowing rise in value. We're talking about the 2002 P Jefferson nickel that, due to a fascinating and rare combination of minting errors, production mishaps, and collector interest, has reached an estimated worth of $22 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A simple 5-cent coin minted in 2002 at the Denver Mint is now valued at $22 million because of a storm of mistakes that have turned a small metallic disc into a legendary and priceless artifact. And in this video we're going to explore every angle of this phenomenal coin, the types of errors that make it so valuable, how those errors happened, what they look like, why they're so rare, and the sheer excitement and collector frenzy that this one coin has ignited across the globe, because in the world of coins it's often the tiniest details that make the biggest impact. And when you take a coin minted in the billions like the 2002 D nickel and discover a handful that show inexplicable and dramatic deviations from the norm, the value skyrockets beyond anything anyone could have imagined, and that's exactly what happened with a few elusive and highly sought-after 2002 D nickels that exhibit a collection of errors so compelling and so hard to replicate that they have become the holy grail for collectors and investors alike. And to understand what makes this coin so valuable, we have to start by looking at the Jefferson nickel itself, which by 2002 had been in circulation for over 60 years with its classic Monticello reverse and Thomas Jefferson obverse, but this year something unusual occurred at the Denver Mint where millions of nickels were struck using high-speed machinery, dies, planchets, and quality control systems that were supposed to eliminate the possibility of severe errors, and yet despite all this, multiple examples of 2002 D nickels emerged with dramatic off-center strikes, where the coin's image is visibly shifted from the center, leaving large blank areas on one side and doubling of design elements on the other, and these off-center strikes range from moderate 10% misalignments all the way up to 50% or more, making them exceptionally rare, especially when the date and mint mark are still visible, which is a key factor in determining collector value. But that's not all, because in addition to off-center strikes, some of these nickels were found with improper alloy mixes or struck on foreign planchets not intended for nickels at all, leading to coins that are the wrong weight, color, thickness, or even metal content, and these planchet errors are nearly impossible to spot without advanced tools, but when discovered they instantly elevate a coin's value into the 6- or 7-figure range. And imagine holding a coin that looks and feels different only to discover it was mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for a dime or even a foreign coin, making it not just an error but a one-of-a-kind minting event. And other known errors from this year include dramatic die cracks that run across the surface like lightning bolts, known as die breaks, which occur when a minting die begins to fracture but is still used to strike coins, creating raised metal areas that look like ridges or blobs. And the most famous of these is a 2002 D nickel with a massive die crack, splitting Monticello in half, which collectors have dubbed the cracked Monticello variety, and which has fetched enormous sums in auctions due to its uniqueness and boldness. And then there are die clashes, where the dies strike each other without a coin in between, causing portions of the reverse design to appear on the obverse and vice versa, resulting in ghost-like images that are visible under magnification and which add serious value due to their rarity and visual intrigue. And if that weren't enough, repunched mint marks have also been found on 2002 D nickels where the D was struck more than once at slightly different angles, producing a doubling effect that collectors go wild for, especially when combined with other errors like off-centering or planchet anomalies. And when all of these errors occur in the same year and sometimes on the same coin, you get what collectors call a compound error coin, which is where the real magic happens, because it's not just the rarity of one error that matters but the combination of multiple errors on a single coin that makes it exponentially more valuable. And such is the case with the ultra-rare specimens of the 2002 D nickel that show off-center strikes, die clashes, repunched mint marks, and struck on a foreign planchet all in one. creating a collector's dream and driving up bidding wars at top auction houses where even conservatively graded examples have crossed the $1 million mark, and the finest known example, graded MS-67 by PCGS with multiple errors present, was recently rumored to have sold in a private transaction for upwards of $22 million, and this has sparked a global treasure hunt as collectors, dealers, and even everyday people are now re-examining their pocket change, coin rolls, and old jars in the hopes of finding their own 2002 jackpot. And the incredible part is that many of these coins may still be out there, hidden in circulation, stashed in old collections, or lying unnoticed in boxes, because few people expect a modern nickel to be worth anything, let alone millions, and this widespread assumption is exactly why these rare coins remain hidden, giving ordinary people the chance to discover extraordinary wealth if they just know what to look for. And that's where education becomes critical, because identifying these rare coins requires a careful eye, patience, and sometimes professional tools like precision scales, microscopes, and metal analyzers. But even basic visual inspection can reveal clues like off-center designs, weird colors, raised blobs of metal, or faint doubling of letters and numbers, all of which are signs that a 2002 nickel could be something very special. And the story behind these errors is equally fascinating, because it shows how even in a tightly controlled, high-tech minting environment, mistakes still happen, sometimes due to worn-out dies, sometimes due to human oversight, and sometimes due to sheer mechanical failure. And while most errors are caught and discarded, a few slip through and enter circulation where they become legendary, and the more dramatic and unique the error, the higher the value, especially when only a few known examples exist, and especially when they're in high-grade condition, because coins that escaped heavy circulation with minimal wear are the ones that attract top dollar. And in the case of the 2002 nickel, there's the added factor of mystery. No one knows exactly how many error coins were made or how many are still out there, creating an air of suspense and excitement that drives demand even higher. And that demand is visible everywhere, from auction houses to online marketplaces to YouTube and TikTok, where coin experts and influencers are showcasing examples, teaching people what to look for, and fueling a new generation of coin enthusiasts who see numismatics not just as a hobby but as a potential gold mine. And when a 5-cent coin can fetch $22 million, who wouldn't be intrigued? And what's truly magical is that these stories are not confined to elite collectors but involve ordinary people, grandparents, students, janitors, cashiers, who stumbled upon a coin and had the curiosity to investigate further, only to realize they were holding a national treasure. And every new discovery adds to the legend, increasing the coin's value and strengthening its place in the pantheon of great American rarities. And with each passing year, the supply of these rare 2002 era nickels diminishes due to loss, damage, or private sale, making those that remain even more desirable. And so the hunt continues with renewed energy and enthusiasm as collectors big and small chase the dream of finding their own $1 million nickel. And while not every 2002 coin is worth millions, the possibility that any one of them might be is enough to keep hope alive and keep eyes sharp, because at the end of the day, this is more than just a story about a coin. It's a story about attention to detail, about hidden value, about the unexpected ways wealth can appear when you take the time to look closely at what others overlook. And as we continue to uncover these incredible numismatic stories, we invite you to join us on this journey into the rich and surprising world of American coinage, where history, rarity, and fortune collide in the palm of your hand. So if you found this deep dive into the mysterious and massively valuable 2002 nickel as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because your next 5-cent coin might just be the key to a $22 million future.